We're very glad that the court gave Mr. Patel a bond and that he's going to be able to get out and celebrate the birthday that he missed while he was in custody. And so we're just very thankful about that.
Why do you think we saw him sit in jail for so long?
I think that it was just a couple different factors that played into it. You know, the court system sometimes takes a while to get bond. I think the charges were embellished at the beginning, and that sort of led to a downward spiral that resulted in him sitting in jail for a while.
Are you going to fight to get these charges dropped?
Yes, definitely. We think Mr. Patel is... Yeah, so Mick is innocent, and so we're definitely going to fight for his innocence and for him to be released. The process, we filed a motion to dismiss already. It's called a demurrer, and that's a motion to quash the indictment. So we've already filed that. We're hoping that the judge will dismiss the charges. Essentially, we're saying that he can admit to all the conduct and he's not guilty of a crime.
You said the video in court, you said the video clearly shows that this was not a case of attempted kidnapping. If you could talk about that.
Right. I mean, the video is clear. If you watch the video, you can see a gentleman who is helping someone who he thought's a neighbor at a neighborly Walmart. There's nothing criminal about it. There's nothing no interaction that's scary, nothing like that.
I want to ask you about Mrs. Miller really quick. Do we, from what I understand, you said that she's made false accusations prior.
Yes.
Was this Lyft driver, Uber driver, another person of color?
Yes, he was. He was an African-American gentleman, and there's been other prior false allegations. So we're sort of investigating that now and trying to put all of that together.
Are you considering bringing charges against Ms. Miller?
I mean, we can't bring charges against her.
Filing any kind of report that could lead to charges?
I'm not sure. We're investigating. We're trying to figure out the motivations. I mean, at this point, we just want the case dismissed against Mr. Patel.
What did you make of what the district attorney's office had to say regarding a history of alcoholism and also pointing to the same video that you've provided and explaining it as something different than what you've stated?
I think this is a case of a misunderstanding, and it's very clear, and you could see that in the court today. You're looking at a video that 99.9% of people view and say it's a misunderstanding, and then the minority view that you can take to the absolute extreme, they believe supports their decision, their side of it. But I think it's clear when you watch it and you look at all the context. If you look at everything, you can clearly see that this is not a crime. That this is nothing.
All right. This is a disturbing case that's coming out of Georgia. They're charging this man with a kidnapping, even though every piece of evidence show that it is not a kidnapping. There's a CCTV video that shows it's not a kidnapping, but the district attorney, their Commonwealth attorney, prosecutors, the police department ran with the story that he kidnapped a baby. You've got the mother of that baby all over the news telling the news that he kidnapped her baby. Then you find out when you actually watch the CCTV video, there is no kidnapping. Before we dive into this disturbing story that's coming out of Georgia, I want to thank everybody for being here. Casey, Bustos, T-Fizz, Heather, I haven't talked to you in a long time. Thank you for being here. Becky, Shelly, who else? Who am I missing? The mother of Mustafa Al-Jazari is here. Thank you for being here. So let's dive into the story. It's coming out of Georgia. And you'll find out. Well, let's watch what the news is telling us. Because the news ran with the headline that he kidnapped that baby, regardless of the CCTV video. Let's watch what the news is telling us.
He tried to kidnap a child in an Ackworth Walmart. Atlanta News First Sarah Hammond live at the Cobb County Jail. And Sarah, the child's mother said this was just terrifying.
Right, we talked to the child's mother who says her son is safe and with her, but she says those terrifying moments could have ended very differently. So Ackworth police say that this man, 56-year-old Mahendra Patel from Kennesaw, tried to snatch the child away from his mother in the Walmart on Cobb Parkway last week. Caroline Miller, the toddler's mom, said they were in the aisle when Patel came up and asked her where the Tylenol was. When she raised her arm to point, she says that's when he grabbed her son. Thankfully, she said she still had a grip on him, and they entered what she described as a tug of war for about 10 seconds.
I mean, look at the way they dramatize that story. all over the news. They dramatize it and they villainize the guy, even though there's a CCTV video that shows there's no kidnapping. And they go as far as put the mother who's alleging that he kidnapped her baby, flat out lie about the whole entire situation. And you find out the same thing is happening here out of Prince William County in Virginia. I mean, what is going on in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case? Mustafa Al-Jazari has a dash camera in his vehicle that shows the whole entire thing is a vehicle accident. The Commonwealth Attorney seals off the dash camera from the community. No one is allowed to see this dash camera. And then a year into it, they chop up this dash camera, release 3 seconds. They take it out of context. They put it together and release 3 seconds that doesn't show anything. And they tell you this is the dash camera. Why not show the whole community, the full dash camera? Why are you chopping up this dash camera? You're muting it. You're cutting a 1 second out of the middle of it. You're taking 2 seconds toward the end. You're piecing it. You're taking the dash cam out of context. And you tell this whole entire community that Mustafa crashed a vehicle on purpose. And then you bring in Mustafa's girlfriend's brother, who lives all the way in West Virginia, just like 4 or 5 hours from here, doesn't know anything about his sister. You tell him that Mustafa did this on purpose. You put him on TV for the whole entire community to see that the brother is saying that Mustafa crashed the vehicle on purpose. This brother is not in his sister's life, doesn't know anything about his sister. All of a sudden, he's on national television telling the community that Mustafa did this on purpose. You haven't seen the dash camera. They didn't even tell him. The police department didn't even tell him there is a dash camera inside the vehicle. But he's on national television telling everybody that Mustafa Al-Jazari crashed the vehicle on purpose. And then, when you actually watch this dash camera, you find that Mustafa did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident. This is a vehicle accident. And the Commonwealth Attorney has been lying about the whole entire thing since the beginning. As a matter of fact, the police department went as far as falsify Mustafa's statement and put in the police report, and they say that you told us, you, Mustafa, told us that you were arguing with your girlfriend inside the vehicle. And then you find out that the reason the Commonwealth Attorney is hiding the dash camera from the community is because when you watch this dash camera, you realize that Mustafa and Dorothy are passing back and forth a cigarette 6 times. And that's why the Commonwealth Attorney is so terrified that she sealed off this dash camera from the community. But she's going to have the brother lie to the brother, put him on national television to tell this community that Mustafa crashed the vehicle on purpose. And what are they doing out of Georgia? The news, the police department, they have this mother all over the news telling the community that this man kidnapped my baby. Let's watch what's coming out of Georgia.
And I'm like, no, 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 what are you doing? What are you doing? And I got him back, and then he just stared at me and then goes, oh, I just wanted to get him out of your lap so you could get up and help me, which was weird. That didn't make any sense. And then he just walked off.
Patel is charged with simple assault, simple battery, and kidnapping. He's being held here at the Cobb County Jail without bond. Live in Cobb County, Sarah Hammond for Atlanta News First.
Now, you saw that mother all over national television telling everybody that this man kidnapped her baby. Now, when you jump into the Mustafa Al-Jazari case, you find out that they're doing the same thing. This is Dorothy's estranged brother, doesn't know anything about his sister. He's on national television telling everybody that his sister was on the phone and she's telling her friend that Mustafa is crashing the vehicle on purpose. The dash camera is on the internet, is on YouTube, under Not Another Boring Podcast. If you find out that Dorothy, Mustafa's girlfriend, is on the phone, I'm going to shut down this whole platform and you won't see me talk about the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. Go through the dash camera. Show me where Dorothy's on the phone. She's not on the phone. Show me where Mustafa is arguing with his girlfriend. I'll shut down this whole entire channel. The Commonwealth Attorney, the police department, they're all saying this dash camera is going to show you that they're arguing inside the vehicle. If you show me where they're arguing, I'm going to shut down this whole entire platform. When you watch the dash camera, you see them passing back and forth a cigarette 6 times. How could they be arguing if they're passing back and forth a cigarette 6 times? Let's listen to what Derek is telling us. Derek is telling us that his sister was on the phone. By the way, this is a dash camera you don't have access to. I had to steal this dash camera from the Commonwealth Attorney, leak it on the internet, so we can actually verify what this brother is talking about. Let's listen to what Derek is talking about.
My sister was on phone with another one of her friends while this was happening.
He said, my sister was on the phone telling her friend that Mustafa is crashing the vehicle on purpose. Let's listen to that one more time.
My sister was on phone with another one of her friends while this was happening.
His sister was on the phone. Go through the dash camera. Show me where Mustafa's girlfriend is on the phone. Show me where they're arguing. They've lied about the whole thing. And here, coming out of Georgia, you find that they're doing the same exact thing. They have this mother all over the news talking about
Well, having said that,
this man tried to kidnap her baby.
I'm ready, Ms. Merchant.
Great, thank you.
Let's see if I can go back into it.
Walmart. Atlanta News First Sarah Hammond live at the Cobb County Jail. And Sarah, the child's mother said
week, Caroline Miller, the toddler's mom, said they were in the aisle when Patel came up and asked her where the Tylenol was. When she raised her arm to point, she says that's when he grabbed her son. Thankfully, she said she still had a grip on him, and they entered what she described as a tug of war for about 10 seconds.
And I'm like, no, 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 what are you doing? What are you doing? And I got him back, and then he just stared at me and then goes, oh, I just wanted to get him out of your lap so you could get up and help me, which was weird. That didn't make any sense. And then he just walked off.
Really? There was a tug of war. He tried to kidnap her baby, and he just walked off. The mother's worst nightmare, her baby's being robbed right in front of her. Now, here's the problem. When you watch the CCTV video, you realize that this lady lied about the whole entire thing. Let's watch the CCTV video. The actual CCTV video.
Accused of a terrible... The shopper in this video is accused of a terrible crime, snatching a little boy at Walmart. The mother's accusation was disturbing.
Did someone try to take you from Mommy? Yeah.
Caroline Miller says it started when the shopper asked where he could find Tylenol at a Walmart in Atlanta.
It's over there. And as soon as I did that, that's when he just picked him up out of my arms.
What followed, she said, was a tug of war over the kid. She called 911.
I was in the Walmart and I had to rip my baby out of some other man's hands because he was trying to snatch him.
Someone trying to snatch your baby?
Yes.
56-year-old Mahendra Patel was charged with kidnapping and simple assault. But this newly released surveillance tape appears to paint an entirely different picture, showing Patel asking Miller about the Tylenol. And you can see her pointing toward the drug aisle.
What is going on there? Because that is the point where she is alleging
he was trying to grab her son and she was pulling him back.
Her children are sort of hanging off of this cart, and you see Mr. Patel almost lean in to help. And then moments later, literally split seconds later, she starts to rise to point out the Tylenol. Then within 1 or 2 seconds after that, you see her in a screen laughing with another gentleman.
The tape shows that minutes after she claimed he tried to kidnap her son, there was a subsequent encounter where Patel shows the woman he found the Tylenol. He then checks out, stops to talk to an employee.
You see how they have a CCTV video from multiple angles. Prosperity, if you can do me a favor, if you can put yours on mute, because there's a lot of feedback coming in. Thank you for being here. You see how the CCTV, there are so many angles of that CCTV video that actually show you what is going on in that situation. Now, what's coming out of our county, the county, our Fairfax, they're running with a story that there is a kidnapping that happened in our local mall. And they're saying that there is a man that kidnapped a baby. The CCTV angle that they're running with is a narrow view, and we'll get into the story and how it's so relevant to what's coming out of Georgia. That the police department runs with a story, don't give you all the details, and then when the details come out, they've lied about the whole thing. Here we're watching multiple angles from multiple CCTV videos that can actually show us that they've lied about that man coming out of Georgia. Let's continue watching.
He then leaves.
I think it's crystal clear from the video. You can see that there's no assaulting conduct. You can see there's no battery. You can see he doesn't actually take the child from the mother.
You have multiple angles coming out of that CCTV that can actually show you what actually is happening. Now, out of Fairfax, we have this situation where they're charging this man with
crime is spiraling,
kidnapping a baby.
Out of control in small towns, big cities, and our nation's capital. Now, the image we're about to show you is disturbing. Following the alleged beating of the former Doge employee that...
Gonna fast forward. There we go.
The Blue County, Fairfax County, for its soft on crime policies after it was revealed that the man was a repeat offender let out of jail only 3 days before this incident. Here with more, Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin. Do we need to federalize D.C.? And why was this repeat offender released 3 days, prior?
People die, and that's still.
I mean, this is the Governor Youngkin. Let's listen to what Governor Youngkin. Governor Youngkin is, and instead of he's trying to politicize what's coming out of Fairfax, we'll come back to Governor Youngkin. I want to go into what is going on in Fairfax. I want to pull up the CCTV video. Let's type kidnapping Fairfax. See if that comes up. There we go. So this is let's watch what Fox.
Man arrested after allegedly trying to abduct a girl from a play area at a local mall.
Fox 5's Tisha Lewis joining us live from Fair Oaks with what we know so far. Tisha?
Marina and Jim, a close call here at Fair Oaks Mall. The play area is actually located on the main level once you go through the main entrance, which is over my right shoulder. We're told the mother made the discovery and the rescuing her child from the suspect on the second level of the mall. Thankfully, there are no injuries to report, and obviously we could be telling a very different story tonight. There could be a worse outcome. Take a look at the mugshot. Here is who we're talking about. Fairfax County Police say 26-year-old Andres Caceres Haldin is in custody. Police credit their crime center technology for Haldin's arrest over the weekend. Investigators say he was nabbed at an extended day in Chantilly thanks to surveillance video that connected him to a stolen...
What do you mean? The CCTV video literally showed that the baby wanders off into the middle of the mall. Out of concern, this man comes out of nowhere. He picks up the baby, and he takes the baby and hands it over to the mother. Now, the CCTV video shows that he picked up the baby, and then he goes into the direction where the mother is in. Our question for the police department, our question for the Commonwealth attorney is, why are you not releasing different angles from that CCTV video? Let me play the CCTV video so that way you see what I'm talking about. This is the CCTV
now
video.
To the video that is every parent's worst nightmare. A man caught on camera accused of abducting a little girl inside the Fair Oaks Mall. But Fairfax County Police have arrested him.
There we go. This is a CCTV video. Gonna rewind it just a little bit. Within 22 seconds, that baby wanders into the middle of the mall. And then you have that man picks up the baby. And he could have gone in 4 different directions. If this was a kidnapping, he wouldn't go into the direction where the mother is in. He walks into the store and gives that baby to that mother. Now, they're telling us that the mother caught him. The mother took her baby. Why not show us that CCTV video? If that's true, if that is true, if the mother is the mother that's paying so much attention is the one that caught this man, took her baby from him, show us the CCTV video. Show us that angle when you're claiming that the mother took the baby from him. That's not what I'm seeing here. If this was a kidnapping, he had 3 different directions he could have gone into. Instead, he chose the direction to go into the store and give that baby back to the mother. With this police department, what they're doing with this Commonwealth attorney, it's so... I mean, this community is not safe. When you start playing with evidence, when you deceive and hide evidence, this is not a safe community. If you had nothing to hide, if you have evidence that he truly kidnapped that baby, then you should have no problem releasing the different angles from this CCTV video. I mean, what are we watching out of Georgia? Out of Georgia, we're watching that man got charged with kidnapping. They put that mother on national television. And then when they released the different angles from different CCTV video, you found out that it was complete bullshit. There was no kidnapping. And that lady made it up. And apparently she has a history of accusing people so she can make money off of them. Falsely charge people, falsely make allegation. And that lady out of Georgia has a history where 6 years ago, she falsely accused somebody, sued somebody, and she's trying to get money out of them. We're asking Fairfax to release the different angles out of that mall that actually show us what took place. Because what I'm looking at is a man helping that baby and giving it back to its mother. Our Governor Youngkin, I mean, you would expect that our governor is going to weigh in on the situation and not politicize this case. And instead, our governor is attempting to weaponize this. And he really doesn't care about this community. What this governor does, he sees what our president, the direction that our president is going hard on illegals, blah, the whole thing with deporting people. And this governor wants to show President Trump how hard he is on immigrants. I mean, this man that's being charged is an illegal immigrant. And they want to weaponize this situation. And they want to tell you all illegals are criminals. What do you mean all illegals are criminals? Your whole thing, you want to politicize this so you can start deporting everybody? Is that what you're trying to do? You want to tell President Trump that I'm on board so much, watch me, President Trump, that I'm going to weaponize and politicize this situation just so I can run with the story that all immigrants are criminals. Look, I'm all on board with a secured border. I'm all on board. If they're criminals, get them the hell out of this country. But if they're here and they're barely making a living, they're trying to get by, don't beat up on vulnerable people. Our governor is beating up on vulnerable people and is using that story to weaponize and politicize and to tell President Trump, look at me, President Trump. I'm on board. I'm with you 150%. This governor, if you roll back the tape, wasn't he 100% against President Trump? Isn't that Governor Youngkin? Now he wants to be 150% on board, even if he's stepping all over our community. Let's watch what Governor Youngkin is talking about.
Well, in small towns, big cities, and our nation's capital. Now, the image we're about to show you is disturbing. Following the alleged beating of the former DOJ employee that left him covered in blood, President Trump, he threatened to federalize Washington, D.C., saying
they want to federalize Washington, D.C. because some guy got beaten up by a bunch of 14-year-olds. They want to call in the National Army, the National Guards, federalize Washington, D.C. over what exactly? This just keeps getting better and better by the day. Let's keep listening.
Part that gang members are randomly attacking innocent citizens, knowing that they
gang members, they're a bunch of 14-year-olds.
Be almost immediately released. And according to a new report, 2 15-year-olds have now been arrested in connection with the alleged violent attack in that case. But the problem is not contained to just D.C. In nearby Fairfax in Virginia, well, their county, a disturbing CCTV footage from July 18th that shows a man trying to abduct a little 3-year-old girl. The brazen abduction.
Are we watching the same thing? I mean, are we watching the same thing? We're watching the same CCTV video where a man picks up the baby and he goes in the direction of the mother. God help you the next time that you see a baby in the middle of the street and you pick up that baby to actually make sure that baby is okay. God help you if you're in this community and you're actually helping a baby and taking that baby back to its mother. The next time you see a baby by itself, just pretend and leave it alone by itself. Because you might just end up on national television and the governor is running and trying to politicize whatever he can get out of that story.
It prompted the Virginia governor, Glenn Youngkin, to call out the Blue County, Fairfax County, for its soft on crime policies after it was revealed that the man was a repeat offender, let out of jail only 3 days.
What does this have to do with what we're watching on that CCTV video? He's a repeat offender. They're going to air out all his criminal history. So I can watch this and say, oh, yeah, he's a criminal. Might as well just go ahead and toss him into jail. What does his criminal history have to do with what we're watching on that CCTV video? I mean, do you really think that we're that stupid that we're not going to see what is going on that CCTV video? Are we that out of it that we're not going to ask where's the different angles from that CCTV video? Why are we only provided a very narrow angle so that we can't tell what is actually happening? So they can tell us what is happening.
For this incident, here with more, Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin. Do we need to federalize D.C.?
Glenn Youngkin himself. There we go.
Why was this repeat offender released 3 days, prior? Why was he not viewed as a threat with his track record?
Well, Sean, let's just begin. President Trump was absolutely right to put D.C. on notice. The soft on crime policies that their liberal left has been championing for far too long, they don't just hurt people, people die. And that's exactly what almost happened to this young man who worked for the federal government. I mean, he almost died. He was almost beat to death by 15-year-olds.
What do you mean? He's at 3 o'clock in the morning. He's out and about in D.C. On 14th Street. A bunch of 14-year-olds come out of nowhere and beat the hell out of him. Why did they beat him? A bunch of 14-year-olds beat the shit out of him. They had no idea. You want to tell me, you want to convince me that these 14-year-olds knew that he worked for the federal government and this was a targeted attack? And then when you look into the details, you find out that apparently those 14-year-olds were carjacking a vehicle or doing what? That's what they say. This person intervened and got his ass kicked. They had no idea that he worked for the federal government. But you got our governor telling you this is a targeted effect. This is a targeted situation. They knew he worked for the government and they targeted him. So we got to call in the National Guard because a bunch of 14-year-olds beat the shit out of this random person. They had no idea that he worked for the federal government. They had no idea that it's just, but you want it. This governor, whatever it takes, that he's going to politicize the issue. And then you'll see that's exactly what he's doing with the story that's coming out of Fairfax with this alleged kidnapping. They want to tell us it's a kidnapping. But this governor is nowhere to be found when you put a body cam on his desk. The police engaged in misconduct. This governor, we have a leaked body cam in 2 cases that's coming out of Prince William County. You have in one case, Tatiana David, where it shows on a body cam that police unalive Tatiana David. And then you have another case where police falsified a whole entire case in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. You take those files, you leak those files, you give them to Governor Youngkin, and Governor Youngkin is nowhere to be found. But he's here. He's 100% here if he can politicize the issues that's coming out of our county. He wants to tell you he cares about our community. Well, we're going to play those body cams. We're going to go into the details of the Tatiana David case. We're going to go into the detail of Mustafa Al-Jazari case. And you tell me if this governor is nothing more than an opportunist. Whatever it takes to have him politicize the situation. He doesn't care about this community. Let's keep listening to Governor Youngkin.
That is what soft on crime results in. When there is no consequence, then there is no rule of law. And of course, in Virginia, when I came into office, Virginia was at a 20-year high in murder rate. And we went to work. We backed the blue, we prosecute, and yet we still have these pockets, this pocket in Fairfax County where there is a Soros prosecutor.
Did he just say a Soros prosecutor? Put a pin in that one. Because we'll come back to what he's talking about with Soros prosecutor. Apparently, the person running for governor, Abigail Spanberger, who prides herself in being a CIA agent. She used to work for the CIA. Every time she makes a video on her Facebook, she tells you, I used to work for the CIA. I served this country. Well, details are coming out that you're getting funded by the Chinese government. So put a pin in that one. We'll come back to it.
This gentleman keeps letting people out early. We had someone who had committed a hit and run, or at least been arrested for a hit and run. He had a rap sheet a mile long, but they let him go. And 3 days later, he is caught on closed-circuit TV scooping up a 3-year-old toddler and trying to take her away.
Take her away into the store to her mother. Governor Youngkin, come on, brother. I mean, you want to tell us because he has an extensive criminal history, what we're watching on CCTV video, what does this have to do with his extensive criminal history? Governor Youngkin, I don't see you asking for different angles to be released out of that mall, out of the police department, so we can actually see what is going on. Instead, you run with the story because it's helping your career as a governor.
Luckily, God, I mean, for the grace of God, that the mother came and intercepted him.
Whoa. You said the mother came in and intercepted him? I mean, are we watching the same thing? I see that man scooping up the baby, like Governor Youngkin says, and scooping the baby to the mother. I don't see the mother intercepting that man. I mean, unless Governor Youngkin is seeing something that we're not seeing. Governor Youngkin, can you release that angle into the mother scooping up the baby? Intercepting that man? Can you release that to us? Or are we... We're not supposed to be asking questions. You're going to be thinking for us. You're going to see for us. You're going to think for us. All hail Governor Youngkin. Is that what is happening here? Governor Youngkin, all hail Governor Youngkin. You know more than we do. We're not going to think. We're going to turn off our brain. We're going to stop asking questions, and we're going to have you think for us. Governor Youngkin, you have an obligation to this community. Not beat up on the most vulnerable portion of our community. You know he's illegal. He's not going to get due process. And hence the fact that we haven't heard from his lawyer. So they get to do whatever they want. They're going to chop up this case however they want. Anything just to get them an extra vote. Let's keep listening.
After he was arrested, it was found that he not only was being arrested for abduction or accused abduction, but he was driving a stolen vehicle. And this is what we get.
He was driving a stolen vehicle, he says. First of all, we don't know if that's his vehicle. We don't know if he was picking up a ride with someone that has a stolen vehicle. You can't verify that information. The police department is not going to tell you. But this governor is just spitting out facts. He tells you, this is how it's going to be, whether you like it or not. And even if you ask questions, good luck. You're not going to get the answers.
We get Soros-backed prosecutors who are soft.
Soros-backed prosecutors. We'll come back to what he's talking about.
On crime, who let criminals back into the streets that are committing crime after crime after crime in these liberal left-run cities. And that's what we have seen in Virginia come to a stop in most of them. But we still have these pockets. And that's why I've asked our Attorney General, our great Attorney General, Jason Miyares, to open up a full investigation of the repeated dereliction of duty of this Commonwealth's attorney that puts the citizens that elected him at risk every single day.
But this seems to be the new philosophy: defund, dismantle, reimagine the police, and send in the social workers and not officers. And
you know what's really interesting? He's talking about that he called on Jason Miyares, the Attorney General, and asked him to look into the Commonwealth attorney out of Fairfax. Great. Hey, I'm all for it. You've got a Republican going against a Democrat. As far as I'm concerned, they're all a piece of shit, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat. I've seen it where they're both the same. You've got money coming into this county, and the reality is they don't care about this community as long as they're making money. But here, I mean, this is good. But I hope that he's being honest about it. He says, I called on Jason Miyares to look into the Commonwealth attorney out of Fairfax. who's a Democrat, right? That's what you're telling us. That she's soft on crime. That you're calling this, you already condemned this man guilty. You're not interested in looking at different angles from the CCTV video. You don't want to look into it. You already condemned him guilty, right? And you're saying that the Commonwealth attorney out of Fairfax is soft on crime and she should be held accountable. That's what you're saying, right? Well, Governor Youngkin, let me steer your way a little bit left to the adjacent county, Prince William County. You also have a Democrat Commonwealth attorney. Her name is Amy Ashworth. Now, Governor Youngkin, on your desk, you have a leaked body cam, multiple leaked body cams, of two cases, one for Mustafa Al-Jazari and one for Tatiana David. Where in Tatiana David, and I say leaked because with the help of certain individuals, I've accessed the server out of the police department and I stole a bunch of files out of the police department. And I'm leaking them on the internet. In one body cam, you see that Tatiana David is being dragged out of her vehicle after police, Prince William County Police and Virginia State Police, put 50 AR-15 bullet hole into that vehicle. And then they drag her out of that vehicle, put her away from the vehicle, reposition her somewhere else, only to tell the news that we found her outside the vehicle. You say you're hard on crime, Governor Youngkin, and that you called on Jason Myers, the Attorney General, to look into the Commonwealth out of Fairfax. Well, why are you not looking at the Commonwealth attorney out of Prince William County, who sealed off this body cam? She went to a judge and she sealed off the body cam so that no one can FOIA request that body cam. The community can no longer verify what's coming out of the police department. I mean, are we on the same page here? You say you're hard on crime and you're so upset at Fairfax, but yet you've got a body cam. You've got two files on your desk of police misconduct, but you're not calling on your Attorney General to look into the Commonwealth attorney, Amy Ashworth? I mean, Governor Youngkin, this is not my word against your word. This is not me just talking. I've got proof, sir. And this community is watching. We're watching you on Fox News talk about what's coming out of our county in Fairfax, that you call this a abduction. This is a crime. You're hard on Commonwealth attorneys. Well, let's watch the body cam of Tatiana David together, and this community can see what's actually on your desk. And the question is, why is Governor Youngkin not doing the same thing to Prince William County? He's hard on Fairfax about this abduction, that he says it's an abduction, but yet he doesn't talk about Commonwealth Amy Ashworth out of Prince William County. I wonder why this governor is not hard on the Commonwealth attorney out of Prince William County. Let's watch the body cam, and hopefully together as a community, we can come to an answer. I think that's fair. All right, let's watch what the news is telling us. This is, let's see. This is Tatiana David. Tatiana David is a service member. She served this country for 5 years. Tatiana David is a black girl who apparently, because she's black, no one cares. The disregard for her life when we're watching that body cam and how police murdered this girl is beyond words. Let's watch what the news is telling us. On the news, they tell us that the police found her outside the vehicle. And you tell me if this is a cover-up. I mean, what is the definition of a cover-up? Let's watch what the news is telling us.
The New York woman found dead in Northern Virginia after she was abducted. Police say they found the body of Tatiana David Wednesday night beside the SUV believed to have been used to kidnap her along I-95 in Quantico. Dave Laval spoke to her family just a short.
Did you hear what she said? She said they found her. Prince William County Police Department and Virginia State Police found her outside the vehicle. Well, let's watch the body cam, because the body cam shows a completely different story. This is the body cam of Tatiana David. You see Prince William County Police Department exit their vehicle. And the officer is met with other Prince William County police officer and Virginia State Police officers. At that point, they've already shot up the vehicle. You see them, if you zoom in, you see the officer with his AR-15. Got a giant smile on his face. I don't know why he's smiling after he put 50 bullet into that vehicle. If you zoom in, you'll see the driver, which is the boyfriend of Tatiana David, being dragged out of that vehicle. That's the father of Tatiana David, 5-year-old baby. The news, they tell you that he shot at the police, that Tatiana David came at the police, caught in the crossfire. They found her outside the vehicle. And then you find out that there is no gun, that the police overreacted and put 50 bullets into that vehicle. Tatiana David is in the back seat, and you're going to see police drag her out of that vehicle after they had already put 50 bullets in her. Problem here, you see that's Michael Davis being dragged out of that vehicle, repositioned somewhere else. You're going to see the same thing happen to Tatiana David. She's going to be dragged away from the vehicle, only for them to say, we found her outside the vehicle. This body cam is on the desk of Governor Youngkin. The question here is, why is he not calling on Commonwealth Amy Ashworth to be prosecuted for sealing off this body cam? He wants to say he's tough on prosecutors. He's tough on Commonwealth attorneys, but yet completely ignore this leaked body cam. This is Tatiana David being dragged out of her vehicle. At this point, she's already dead. They put 50 bullets into Tatiana David. I mean, the disregard for her life is beyond words. This happened on April 5th, 2023. And since then, Amy Ashworth went to a judge and sealed off this body cam so that no one can actually find out what Prince William County Police Department and Virginia State Police did to Tatiana David.
My hands are fucked. They're cut by glass. Switch.
Here. Look at me. Get her out here. Get her out. Get her right down here. Hey, get him out. Get ready too. Can't get her out. Okay. The legs are rammed up in there. Grab her arm. Can you move the seat up? Okay. I got the arm here. This is it. There's no one on scene, but we have two other people that need rescue. One gunshot wound, they're trying to figure out the rest.
Okay, copy. No injuries. No. We're having a patient on the central line.
You're gonna have to stand her up. Yeah, grab. There you go. Watch out, watch out. Hey, help him pull. There you go.
Michael, don't jump.
Flip her over.
Not only do they drag her out of that vehicle after they put 50 bullet in her, they drag her away from the vehicle only so they can say that we found her outside the vehicle.
Do this right. All right. Grab the pull. Grab the back of her head. I got a leg. All right. Go.
I mean, this is the definition of a cover-up. But you've got Governor Youngkin. I mean, this body cam is leaked on the internet. We gave it to Governor Youngkin. He's got this body cam on his desk. So when you got Governor Youngkin telling us that he's hard on crime, that he's tough on prosecutors, what the hell is he talking about? He's nowhere to be found when we're talking about Tatiana David. I'm going to bring everybody on here. Let's see if I can bring everybody. Shelly, Casey, Bustos, Prosperity, everybody, thank you for being here. I mean, you guys are watching what I'm talking about, right? Like, are we on the same page here? You've got... I mean, we just heard Governor Youngkin so tough on crime, so tough on prosecutors, right? I mean, we're watching the same thing, right?
These people are all evil. They don't have hearts.
I mean, is this... I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I mean, do they really think that this community is so asleep? I mean, we just watched a whole 5-10 minutes of Governor Youngkin give us a giant speech of how tough he is on crime. That he's so fed up with the prosecutor and the Commonwealth attorney coming out of Fairfax. But yet you've got this body cam on your desk. I mean, Shelly, you're watching the same thing I'm watching, right? I mean, we're on the same page. What is really going on out of our governor? This is a governor that we voted for. We put him in office, but now he's just, I mean, if you're going to lie to me, don't insult my intelligence in the process.
And also, why continue this trial? Why push it another year? What are we waiting on?
I mean, we're talking about Mustafa Al-Jazari case. The whole file is on the internet.
Well, even Tatiana David, I mean, his got pushed to next year too.
It's on exactly. Why is Michael Davis trial being pushed all the way until next year? Why is Mustafa Al-Jazari case being pushed all the way into next year? Exactly. And I'll tell you, I mean, Shelly, watching that case out of Georgia, you see his attorney all over the news. Where is Mustafa's lawyer? That's a good question, right?
Exactly. They're trying to wear him down is what they're trying to do, or take him out.
I mean, Mustafa's lawyer is Brad Haywood. The government gave Brad Haywood $45,000. Where is the $45,000? That $45,000 was supposed to go into two things: reconstruct the vehicle accident and hire an independent expert to download the SD card that the government is now saying in their documents that they have the audio to the dash camera. That's the most basic thing that you can ask for in a case of a vehicle accident.
And where's he at?
Where's Brad Haywood? Let's look up Brad Haywood. The other day I was on Twitter, and I kid you not, Brad Haywood is all over Twitter talking to Delegate King out of Dumfries. And Delegate King is replying back and forth to him, talking about cases that's coming out of the county. But he's nowhere to be found in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. Why isn't he talking about Mustafa?
Delegate that you guys talked to in the city hall, and she said, not my jurisdiction?
And then you find that it is her jurisdiction.
Exactly. That same person? Yeah. Why are they so scared of, standing up for what's right?
They came out and said Mustafa crashed the vehicle on purpose. That you Mustafa told us that you were arguing inside the vehicle. And then you find out when you listen to the audio between Mustafa and the investigator, Mustafa never said that. This investigator falsified Mustafa's statements. They tell you that Mustafa crashed the vehicle on purpose. That the dash camera is going to show you that he crashed the vehicle on purpose. And then you watch the dash camera, you see Mustafa and Dorothy are passing back and forth a cigarette 6 times. They tell you the dash camera doesn't have audio. And then you find out in their internal documents, officer admit the dash camera has audio. Why is this dash camera cut off before impact? Why is there 17 frames missing from the camera facing inward?
Exactly.
And now that the file is leaked, you see that they've lied about the whole entire thing. In the first bond hearing, on the last podcast we talked about where the prosecutor said that Mustafa crashed a vehicle, a separate vehicle, and gave someone a brain injury. And then that someone, all of a sudden, is on the internet talking about that the police lied about me. Mustafa never gave me a brain injury. Mustafa never crashed a car, never gave me a brain injury. I never said that. The police claimed that Jason Nance said that. Then you find out there's a video on the internet that Jason Nance never said that. He says, I never said that. The police lied. So in the bond hearing, they said that Mustafa crashed a vehicle, gave someone a brain injury. In the second bond hearing, it gets even weirder. They say that Mustafa threatened a correctional officer inside the jail. You can't make this up even if you want to.
Exactly.
Are we talking about the same Mustafa that was beaten up in jail by officers? Are we talking about the same Mustafa that's so terrified after they had beat him up that they're going to beat him up again? That Mustafa threatened a correctional officer? This is, Shelly, this is what Julie Carey is talking about. I'm going to go over to what NBC4 is talking about. So that way we have perspective on what is going on. This is Julie Carey. And she wants to tell you that Mustafa threatened a CEO. This is during his second bond hearing.
Al-Jazari won't be walking out of this jail today. That's because the judge put a stay or a hold on his order, so prosecutors could explore the idea of an appeal. Everyone will be back in court again next.
It's going to show.
Investigators' interview with Al-Jazari made 2 days. But the judge ruling prosecutors failed to prove Al-Jazari would be dangerous if released. He granted a 5.
Not this one. Hang on, this one. There we go. This one.
The information that seemed to influence the judge the most, though, prosecutor said that Mustafa Al-Jaziri had threatened a jail deputy, saying he knew her address and would come find her if released. The judge revoking the $5,000 bond he'd set a week ago. Al-Jaziri's family, who's been keeping vigil outside the jail, disappointed with the judge's ruling and questioning the allegations of a jail threat.
It doesn't make sense that Mustafa would make a threat. He's going to say, I'm going to be found innocent, only to come out and commit another crime. That just doesn't make any sense.
Al-Jaziri's attorney now deciding whether to appeal. In Prince William County, I'm Julie Carey, News 4.
So now we're not litigating the case. We're talking about Mustafa threatening a CO. And in court, I mean, this is the part that gets really disturbing. In court, during the bond hearing, the Judge Carol Weimer, lets prosecutor Sarah Sammy proffer. Proffer is when you don't have to bring in evidence. You just say whatever you want. And you tell the judge, Your Honor, I have evidence. Why would Judge Weimer allow her to proffer? This prosecutor already lied in the first bond hearing. She has a case where she used officers that falsify the case, that falsified police reports. Judge Weimer allows a prosecutor, I mean, let that really sink in. You have a prosecutor that's using police officers that falsified police reports, a prosecutor that already lied during the first bond hearing. Judge Carol Weimer knows that, and he lets her proffer. Proffer is when you don't have to bring the evidence. You just say whatever you want, and you tell the judge, Your Honor, I have evidence. So during the bond hearing, the prosecutor got to say, Your Honor, Mustafa threatened a CEO. Why is Julie Carey? I mean, Julie Carey wants to tell us that Mustafa threatened a CEO, right? Why is Julie Carey not being honest with the community and tell this community that there is a witness that came forward from inside the jail that says Mustafa never threatened a CEO? That is the other way around, that Mustafa was threatened by the CEOs, was beaten up by the CEOs. He had his Quran, his religious items violated. Why is Julie Carey not being honest with this community and tell this community there's a CCTV video that shows that they've lied about Mustafa? What am I talking about? What am I talking about with a CCTV video? I mean, Julie Carey has an obligation to this community to not lie to the community on behalf of the police department, on behalf of the prosecutor and the Commonwealth attorney. But yet you've got Julie Carey. She knows we provided her with the CCTV video. We provided her with the statement, the audio statement from the witness that came forward from inside the jail. But Julie Carey is not coming on NBC4 and telling this community there is a CCTV video that shows that they've lied about Mustafa, that Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer. Let's go over to the audio from the... So when you open Mustafa's file, inside the jail, there was an inmate came forward that said Mustafa never threatened the CEO. That is the other way around. Mustafa was beaten up, was abused by COs. Let's listen to this is the internal hearing of April 5th. So April 5th is when they beat up Mustafa and violated his religious items. And then when you find out why, an inmate, there's an 18-year-old inmate that died inside the jail. Mustafa and other inmate came forward about what happened to the 18-year-old, that this inmate died on the hand of correctional officers. Mustafa and other inmate came forward, and the jail began to retaliate against Mustafa and those other inmates. So on April 5th, you have correctional officer that entered Mustafa's cell, that beat him, violated his religious items. And when we made this incident public, within 24 hours, they came back and wrote Mustafa up. Let's listen to what the internal hearing from that incident.
Today's date is 4/9/2024. The time is 11:31. Having a DAR hearing for inmate Al-Jazari, first name Mustafa, jail number 23-00808. The misconduct number is 24-0406-613. Mr. Al-Jazari, he was written up on a major violation, 24, unacceptable behavior. You have the right to remain silent, a right to present witness, a right to a staff advisor, and a right to appeal any decision of the board to superintendent within 5 working days. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, sir, I understand. And I have a witness right next door in cell 11. His name is Lamar McNeil.
Okay, we'll call for your witness in a few. Do you wish to be represented by a staff advisor?
Yes, please.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and pause the recording, get your staff advisor, okay?
Okay.
And then we'll proceed.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to go ahead and proceed with the hearing. You met with the staff advisor, correct?
That's Brian Pittman. And
so you're hearing Mustafa, and you're hearing the correctional officer Fenner, that's conducting the hearing.
All he did
of the April 5th, 2024 incident. And we're going to listen to the audio of the hearing, and then we're going to go over to the CCTV video, and you're going to see what actually happened on April 5th. They want to tell you that Mustafa threatened a CO inside this jail. But Julie Carey doesn't tell you there is a witness that tell you Mustafa never threatened a CO, that there's a CCTV video that shows that Mustafa never threatened a CO.
was just read the paragraph that's sitting right there on the piece of paper that you're holding.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. I'm First Sergeant Fenner. This is Sergeant Cruz, and then this is Officer Wilson.
Ms. Wilson.
All right. I'll read the narrative. After I read the narrative, I ask you how do you wish to plead, whether you're guilty or not guilty, then you can give me your side of the story, okay?
Yes, sir.
And then we'll pause the tape and call for your witness.
Okay, sounds real good.
All right?
Yes, sir.
Now, this is the audio. This is the CCTV. We're going to go back and listen to the audio. This is the CCTV video. Okay. We're going to go over the CCTV video. We're going to listen to the audio from the internal hearing. And before we dive into the audio, just to give perspective on what is happening inside the jail, Mustafa tells the correctional officers why this is happening.
If my memory is correct, wasn't this when he asked for when he's going to get the clippers so he can cut his hair?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just make sure my memory is right.
And don't they raise his witnesses' charges up? Anybody who speaks up for Mustafa, don't they raise their charges up?
Oh yeah, the Commonwealth attorney retaliates against him. Let's see if I can play this.
I said, I don't care. Take my stuff if you want. Yeah. And then they framed me. They stepped on my rug while I was crying. Okay. Hey, can I just tell, sir, Mr. McNeil, I just got a question for you. When did they put me on TSM?
The TSL had to been the next day sometime.
Well,
like,
they put you on TSL for the threats.
What threats?
The threats that was in it.
I ask my witness one question, please. Did they write me up on that same day as the incident?
No, he didn't get written up that day. Literally, the next day, around about 11 or so, the next day they gave him a DDR, but I thought they knocked on my door, so that's the only reason why I had gotten up. Because I'm like, who's knocking on my door?
There's let's see. There's a portion in the audio that I want to listen to before we go through the whole thing. That's going to give everybody perspective and what is going on. Let's listen to this part.
Like, the only threat was that I'm going to come in your cell.
So this is the witness coming forward that is telling the jail officer that Mustafa never threatened anybody. Instead, he's the one, they threatened him. They went into his cell. They beat Mustafa and then violated Mustafa's religious items.
So if you keep calling my officer,
you should write the sergeant up for coming and threatening me.
He didn't go in his cell. I mean, he didn't say anything when he said, "Don't call my officer's name." He said, "Okay, if that's what you want to do, then go ahead." But down a sergeant being a bully or whatever wanted to show you bulliness and say, "Open the cell, pop the cell door, pop." And then it said, no threats whatsoever. It was just only the whole issue was just from the electric razors.
Yes, sir.
He ran in the cell, took everything, and I'm laughing too, because I'm like, what did he didn't do nothing wrong. And sure enough, 10 minutes later, they came and gave him all his stuff back. Look.
Did you hear what the witness said? He said they went into his cell. They told Mustafa that if you call my sergeant's name one more time, I'm going to go into your cell. And they're threatening Mustafa with going into his cell, roughing him up. Mustafa tells him, I'm not doing anything wrong by calling you by your name to get your attention. You've been ignoring me the whole entire week. And I'm asking you for the most basic thing inside this facility, which is the clipper. So the sergeant comes in. They open his cell, go in, rough him up, beat Mustafa, violate his religious items. They step all over his Quran. They throw his Quran in the hallway. Lamar McNeil tells the jail officer in the hearing that after they did that, after they left, 10 minutes later, they gave Mustafa all his items back. But the correctional officer, listen to what the witness is talking about and listen to what the claim that's coming out of the officer. Jessica Celez. Jessica Celez wants to tell you that Mustafa threatened her. That Mustafa told her, I know where you live. I'm going to come out, beat my charges, and find you. Really listen to what she's claiming. I'm going to beat my charges only to come out, find you, and end up in jail. How does that make any sense? The witness is talking about that they went in, the sergeant proved whatever he wanted to prove, roughed up Mustafa, stepped on his religious items. When he got out, 10 minutes later, they gave him his items back. That's what Lamar McNeil is talking about. Now, let me ask you a question. You're a correctional officer, and an inmate is threatening you. They're telling you, I know where you live. I'm going to find you. I'm going to come out, beat my charges. I know where you live. I'm going to find you. You're going to give him his items back within 10 minutes? Does that make any sense? That's what Lamar McNeil is talking about. Now, wait until you see what the CCTV video show. This correctional officer, Jessica Celez, tells you, and this is narrated by Officer Fenner during the jail hearing. Listen to what he says. That Jessica Celez says, at 9:45, she was removing Mustafa's items. At 10:15, Jessica Celez was returning Mustafa's items. At 10:30 is when Mustafa threatened her. Now, unfortunately for Jessica Celez, we have the CCTV video at 10:30. We're going to look at the CCTV video and see what was Jessica Celez doing at 10:30. Now, you assume she's being threatened by this violent inmate and she feared for her life. Listen to what Fenner is telling us. This is the jail officer.
At approximately 10:15 hours, inmate I, MJO Chan, Sergeant Leathers, and First Sergeant Darling were in his cell removing his property at approximately 09:45 hours. Inmate Al-Jazuri proceeded to call each of us by our full name and yelling, "Everyone in your family can suck my dick. I am going to put you all on blast. Shut up. When I'm speaking, you're quiet. Your name is Chelsea." That's a girl name. Chelsea Darling is a bitch. Each of you can suck my nuts and my cock, my big cock.
They're claiming that Mustafa said all those things. All right.
At approximately 10:15 hours, inmate Al-Jazuri.
The witness tells that Mustafa never said all that. Never said that. They made up the whole entire thing. And it's the other way around. Mustafa is the one that got threatened, beaten up. And that's confirmed when we're watching the CCTV video. Let's continue listening.
Missouri property was returned to him by MJO Chan. At approximately 10:30 hours, inmate Al-Jazuri said to me, "I know your address, Jessica Christie Salas. I am going to go home after I beat my charge, and I'm going to come to your house and make you pay for this harassment and for you assaulting me on May 24th. You're lucky I don't tell everyone your address." Sergeant Sneller was notified. Inmate Al-Jazuri has been written up on a major 24 unacceptable behavior, threatening the security, the safety and the security of the ADC.
All right, so 3 timestamps, right? 9:45. All right, 10:15 and 10:30. Right? 9:45 is removing, right? That Jessica Celez said that she was removing items from Mustafa's cell. 10:15 is returning items into Mustafa's cell, right? And then 10:30, threat that Mustafa threatened her. Well, let's go into the CCTV video and let's see what the CCTV video shows us. In this timestamp, at 10:21, all right, 10:21, this is Officer Chen. Officer Chen seems to be walking to Mustafa's cell. Officer Chen is going to open Mustafa's cell. And you see here, Mustafa's items is already, I'm going to circle. You see those items here? These are Mustafa's items that they had already took out of Mustafa's cell. That's his mattress. That's all his belonging. And all these items are taken out of Mustafa's cell for the sole reason For that one reason, the sergeant wanted to make an example out of Mustafa for calling his correctional officer by her name. Don't call my correctional officer's name. Even if Mustafa has been ignored the whole week for the most basic thing, don't call my officer by her first and last name. How dare, who the hell are you to call my correctional officer by their first and last name? So they go in, rough Mustafa up, beat him, take his belonging, step and violate his Quran, his religious items. And you see, that's what you see here. All Mustafa's belonging is already outside the cell. Now, what is the timestamp? Let's see. Save to photo. You see here, you're at 10:23. Now, we're going to come back to 10:23. Let's go back to the beginning of the CCTV video. The CCTV video starts at 10:14. We just heard Sergeant Fenner talk about 9:45 when they start removing Mustafa's items. Why is that CCTV in the file? Why did they start the CCTV at 10:14? When you open Mustafa's file, that's the only CCTV video available. They don't want to show you when they violently entered Mustafa's cell, beat him, violated his religious items, took his Quran, his religious book, threw it in the hallway, stepped all over his prayer rug. They don't want to show you any of it. They start the video, the CCTV, at 10:14. The incident is at 9:45. Officer Fenner is telling you, they start removing Mustafa's items at 9:45. And these are the items. This is the timestamp, 10:14. Okay, the CCTV will start at 10:14, right? The one that we have available, the one that's in the file. These are Mustafa's items. They're already out. This is at 10:14. This is Mustafa's items. You have the mattress. You have Mustafa's belonging. They're already out in the hallway. So let's go back to where Officer Chen first makes contact on the CCTV video. You see him walking in the direction of Mustafa. This is at 10:21. And what you're going to see is Officer Chen. He's going to open Mustafa's cell, the door. I'm going to zoom in really quick. You see, this is Officer Chen. He's at Mustafa's cell. He opens the door. And he's going to begin giving Mustafa his items back. You see Mustafa's items. I'm going to circle them real quick. These are Mustafa's items. And this is Mustafa's door. Okay? All right, you see how we opened that door? He opened the door. Rewind a little bit. So Officer Chen opens that door. And then he began giving Mustafa his items back. This is after they had beat him up. This is after they had roughed him up. This is after they had stepped on his Quran, violated his religious items at 9:45. At 9:45, that's when they beat up Mustafa. But of course, they're not going to give you the CCTV in the file. Okay, so he's in there. He's giving Mustafa his items back. You see he's giving his items back. Okay, you see how he's giving those items back to Mustafa? He's giving him his cover, his mattress, his belonging. Okay. Now, that's Officer Chen at 10:21. Officer Celeste claimed that Mustafa threatened her at 10:30. Okay. So this is Officer Celeste enter the CCTV video, enter the frame at 10:23. You see Officer Celeste? This is Officer Celeste. That's her. This is Officer Celeste. All right, let's watch where Officer Celeste goes. Okay, Officer Celeste at 10:23. Okay, let's zoom in on Officer Celeste and Officer Chen. Okay, so this is 10:23. Okay, so Officer Chen is still giving Mustafa his items back. Correctional Officer Celeste is walking in the direction of Officer Chen. Mustafa's door is wide open. Okay, so she appears to be talking to Mustafa. She shuts Mustafa's door. Okay. And they're collecting Mustafa's items. This is all at 10:24. Okay, so they're at the door. Officer Celeste and Officer Chen, they're at the door. All right, and they appear to be giving Mustafa his items. You see that small door they had just opened, and they're feeding Mustafa's items through it. All right, so Officer Jessica Celeste and Officer Chen are giving Mustafa his stuff back. All right, so what we're looking for is the threat. Because Officer Celeste claimed that Mustafa threatened her. She says he's a violent inmate. So far, we're not seeing a threat. They're both acting normal. Officer Celeste at 10:25 is just, her and Officer Chen just gave Mustafa his items back through the slot, through the door. Now, let's continue watching the CCTV video. Okay, let's move into 10:30. All right, 10:30. What happened at 10:30? Officer Celeste claimed that at 10:30 Mustafa threatened her, right? All right, this is Officer Celeste. She enters the frame. You see her right there. This is Officer Celeste. I'm going to circle her really quick so that way you don't lose track of her. This is Officer Celeste. All right. All right. And Officer Celeste seems to be checking on inmates. Okay, let's zoom in on Officer Celeste. All right. This is Officer Celeste checking on inmates. All right. Gonna fast forward just a little bit. Okay, so she just walks. All right. All right, so what time are we looking at? This is 10:30. All right, what is Officer Celeste doing? Officer Celeste tells us that she was threatened by Mustafa, that this violent inmate is telling her, I know where you live. I'm going to beat my charges. And I'm going to come and find you. But here on a CCTV video, I'm going to fast forward just a little bit. you're going to find that Officer Celez is folding clothes. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So this is at 10:34. Jessica Celez is seen to be, this is Jessica Celez. She's folding clothes. This is Jessica Celez at 10:34. This is 10:34. And this is Jessica Celez. You want to tell me that you just got threatened by a violent inmate and he's telling you, I'm going to beat my charges? I know where you live. One, you give him his items back, and then you're just back at folding clothes? This is Jessica Celez on a CCTV video. This is Jessica Celez at 10:34, folding clothes. Pushing a cart into the frame. You see her pushing a cart. And then she goes back with Officer Chen folding more clothes. I mean, she's telling us that Mustafa threatened her, that this is a violent inmate, that he threatened her and he told her, Officer Jessica Celez, I know where you live. I'm going to beat my charges and come out and find you. But yet when we're watching the CCTV video, we're watching her give Mustafa his stuff back. I mean, I like to put myself as a correctional officer. And this violent inmate is telling me, I know where you live. I'm going to come out. And I'm going to find you. I'm going to take his items and give it back to him. Open the door. And put the stuff back into his... Reward this inmate for telling me, I'm going to find you. I know where you live. I'm going to come out and find you. Now, this is Jessica Celez at 10:40. You have another correctional officer. You see this correctional officer here? This correctional officer enters the frame. A third correctional officer. And what he does is unique. And it's going to give you insight into what is really happening here with Mustafa. Let's zoom in. This is Officer Celez, Officer Chen, and then you have this correctional officer that enters the frame. Once they're done with that inmate, they go back to Mustafa and they start giving Mustafa more items. You see that correctional officer is talking to Mustafa, and then Jessica Celez and Officer Chen is going to walk over and then give Mustafa more items. Are you telling me that he threatened you, or are you rewarding this inmate? Because I'm watching a CCTV video where you're rewarding this inmate with more items. I mean, I'm trying to put myself in your shoes here. You say that this inmate threatened you, that he told you that he's going to come out and find you. But when I'm watching you on a CCTV video, I'm seeing you give this inmate his items back, go back like nothing is going on, folding clothes. This is what we're watching on the CCTV video. I mean, this is the same correctional officer that's claiming that Mustafa threatened her. I'll tell you what's happening here. We were outside the jail. The family were outside the jail. And we went on social media and we protested what these correctional officers did to Mustafa. Mustafa was being neglected. Mustafa was being abused, and correctional officers were purposely ignoring him from the most basic thing inside the jail. Clippers. He had a giant beard because they're not giving him the clipper. And they're doing that to Mustafa because Mustafa was coming forward about an inmate that died inside the jail. These correctional officers were bothering Mustafa, was abusing Mustafa, was targeting Mustafa because they did not want Mustafa to speak out against what is going on inside the jail. There's an 18-year-old that died inside that county jail 9 days into his incarceration. And Mustafa is one of the inmates that came forward about what he saw happen to that 18-year-old. Correctional officers were taunting Mustafa, were bothering Mustafa. And all of a sudden you have correctional officers go into his cell, beat him, and step on his Quran. Now, on the outside, when we heard about it, we went to the jail and we were protesting outside the jail that you violated Mustafa's religious items. Within 24 hours, all of a sudden, they write Mustafa up and say, you threatened us. They were too terrified that this is going viral. The community is listening. So all of a sudden, it's no longer them threatening Mustafa, beating Mustafa, violating his religious items. No, it's the other way around. You threatened us. But at the time, we didn't have access to the CCTV video. We didn't have access to the inmate that came forward. But then when you watch the CCTV video, you see this, that they've lied about the whole entire situation. What did Julie Carey on the news tell you? That Mustafa threatened a correctional officer? Why is Julie Carey not being honest with the community and tell this community that there is a CCTV video? That I was in communication with her about the inmate that died in our county jail. This is us on the outside.
Today is April 5th.
On April 5th.
2024. And we are protesting the...
This is after they beat Mustafa, violated his Quran. We came out and we were vocal about what they're doing to him. And that's why they took it to the point, the jail, and said, no, you threatened us.
Abuse and the torture of this jail, Prince William County Jail in Manassas, Virginia. Today at 10 in the morning, Mustafa was in his cell when three correctional officers entered his cell and they roughed him up. They put him in handcuffs and they threatened his life. Officer Jessica Christie Salas, Sergeant Chelsea L. Darling, Sergeant Clifton S. Leathers. These three officers entered Mustafa's cell today. They put him in handcuffs and they threatened him. Sergeant Clifton S. Leathers threatened Mustafa. He took his items, he took his belongings, and told him that you will never be able to use the phone. You're never going to call your family. And they took his prayer rug and they took his Quran. They stomped on it in his face. Again, today, Mustafa is fasting because of the month of Ramadan. They took his prayer rug and they spilled a disgusting liquid on it, on his prayer rug and on his Quran. How is this acceptable anywhere in the world, let alone in America? It seems like the Prince William County Jail is behind on civil rights. Now, you only read about these things, of this kind of behavior, in history books. But it seems like in 2024, the Prince William County Jail still allows this racial.
So this is what's going on the outside. We made it viral. The community started listening, and all of a sudden, after 24 hours, Mustafa gets written up that he threatened a correctional officer. I mean, one of the biggest things that when you're looking at this whole entire thing, Julie Carey wants to tell you Mustafa threatened a correctional officer, but she doesn't tell you there's a CCTV video. She doesn't tell you there's a CCTV video that shows that Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer. We just watched Jessica Celeste contradict everything that she said. She's giving Mustafa his items back. You're telling me that he threatened you, but yet you're rewarding this inmate? She waited a whole entire day and then all of a sudden came up with the narrative that Mustafa threatened her after the video of us being outside went viral on the internet and the community are watching what they're doing to Mustafa. You're talking about falsified police reports. You're talking about you falsified a whole entire case and now you're beating up Mustafa. But Julie Carey is not going to tell you that there is a CCTV video inside the jail that shows that this correctional officer lied. That there is an audio of an inmate that came forward that says Mustafa never threatened a CO. I want to thank everybody for being here. And I want to remind everybody that the Commonwealth Attorney days are numbered. She's going to end up in prison. She's going to end up in federal jail. The whole file is on the internet. This Commonwealth Attorney tells you there is an argument inside the vehicle, but yet hides the dash camera from you. How does that make any sense? What is so terrifying about this dash camera that she doesn't want you to see? Wouldn't you think that's the first thing that she runs with? Instead, after a year and a half, she released a chopped up version of a dash camera where she takes the dash camera out of context. Why not release the full dash camera to you? Why not allow you to FOIA request this dash camera? Why am I leaking this dash camera out on the internet? And the prosecutor is so terrified that she's threatening me with jail time. She wants me to shut down my channel, or otherwise she's going to put me in handcuffs. Really? Prosecutor Sarah Sammy? Commonwealth Amy Ashworth? What are you so terrified that the community is going to see on this dash camera? You tell us that Mustafa told you he was arguing inside the vehicle. Mustafa, you say that Mustafa told you that he was arguing inside the vehicle. But yet when we open this dash camera, we see that Mustafa and Dorothy are passing back and forth a cigarette. Oh, is that why you hid the dash camera from the community? This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa threw the police body cam. Judge Carol Weimer under the microscope. Thank you for being here. I want to thank Casey Bustos, Shelly Prosperi, everybody here, the mother of Mustafa Al-Jazari, and everybody. Shelly, thank you for being here, and everybody that I forgot. Thank you for being here. This is not another boring podcast.
The next, like, when he was like, I'm fasting and stuff, he's like, I'm not supposed to be getting my food right now. They went and threw his food in the trash.
All right, what's going on with the Quran? What's going on with the Quran? What's going on with the prayer rug?
Nah, they went, when they came in his room, like, they basically just stepped on everything and just went haywire and grabbed all his shit. Like, excuse my language, they grabbed all his stuff and just balled it all up and threw it out his room. Because when they threw it out his room, they threw it in front of my room. They threw it in front of my cell door.
You saw the correctional officer throw his Quran out the room?
They threw everything out the room. They took everything that was in his room and they threw it out. Not everything. Everything he had in his room, all his commissary, all that stuff, they came and threw it out the room in front of my door and stuff. And literally, when I look out my door, all his stuff was sitting right in front of my daggone door, all on the floor and stuff.